This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Come in, Meltdonians. This is the Meltdown Live here daily with you. 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. I am Tim Melton. So happy to have you on board as we broadcast from the Culver studio live here in Birmingham, Alabama, and across the globe here on YouTube at Meltdown 247. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be a part of the journey, the pop culture campfire that we have created here that we huddle around each and every day. E.g., welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Yesterday was a heck of a mystery box.
It was awesome. I'm still kind of on a high from it. I noticed that we've also changed out some of our movie spotlights. We previously had some fitness videos there. I'm not sure if that's on camera. Now we have La La Land and Game of Thrones. So I'm assuming those are reserved for our best finds.
Well, yes, those bring me joy. I did feel like we were trending in the wrong direction with some of our mystery boxes. Once again, every week we unload at least one mystery box for everybody to see of what's in there: DVDs, Blu-rays, sometimes PS4 games. And there were some fitness DVDs up there to remind us of the horrible boxes we got in the past, which those boxes were actually worse than I originally thought they were.
Yes.
Last night, I did inventory on every single one that we've pulled.
You did.
And I logged every single one. And I started looking up market value for some of these.
Okay.
What looked like more high-profile items, but the Bill Engvall DVD that I pulled out had no DVD in there.
Are you
It's
serious?
just an empty case. And the case was broken in two. So
Oh,
there was no DVD.
no.
There were multiple burnt Blu-rays that were bootlegs.
No
Now,
way.
we knew about Baby Mama, but due date was and what had happened was you could tell the more I looked, the cover art inside was fraudulent as well.
So you were sold fraudulent DVDs
Yeah.
and Blu-rays.
You know how there's a certain texture to the
Cover art?
insert of a DVD or Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Like these were printed out on a printer,
Paper.
like paper, and they were made to look like they were Blu-ray, but you could tell where they had been cut because there was a little white strip at the bottom of the top. And that happened with a couple of Blu-rays from it's always Blu-rays that do this, by the way. And I had to throw those away. I just threw them away.
So I didn't realize there was a market for bootleg Blu-ray DVDs. Where do you think that these were purchased and or found to put in these boxes?
I have no idea on the investigative track on that. I don't know how much of a market there is in the underground bootleg
Community?
Baby Mama game. Yeah, I don't know. Bootleg Baby Mama. That's what we need one of our shirts to say in the future in the store.
It's just odd to me that
It is odd.
someone would take the time to bootleg these movies.
I inventoried all of these. I mean, I was up till 2 in the morning doing all of this.
I hope you washed your hands.
Oh, several times.
Okay.
I had to take breaks to wash my hands and then go back. The public library ones.
Yeah.
So on the inside, there were tags that said discard, written in the case. And I would look at the discs of the public library ones, and they look like 5 feral cats got hold of these things.
No way.
Yeah. Like they were scratched up beyond recognition. So if I get another public library one, I'm going to immediately examine the actual DVD. Now, with all of these horror stories that I'm laying out there, I would still recommend picking up a mystery box because some of these have contained massive hits that pay for the box completely.
I agree.
If I can turn them around on eBay, which I think I'll be able to, but Seasons of Television is they're obviously very much more in demand than a lot of these movies. But the Underworld 5 movie collection, I just posted that on my eBay account, and we'll see if we get any hits. I just made my first eBay sale today.
So you sold something?
Well, I sold something, but it wasn't a movie.
Okay.
It's just an item I had laying
Can
around.
we go into this a little more?
We can.
How much did you make?
Well,
did you profit?
Not a ton. Not a ton. It was like maybe I probably profited $10-15. But my goal is quantity, right?
Yeah.
Once you do 1,000 of those, all of a sudden, you got 10-15 grand laying around. So I made my first step today.
Okay, good.
Every marathon starts with the first step.
First hill.
That is correct. Anyway, Tyler's here as well. Tyler, we've been rambling on about DVDs and such. I want to give you your proper introduction. How are you? That's a pretty badass shirt.
Oh, thank you. I got. Dang it. Oh well, I won't move the mic out of the way. I don't want anything to mess up today. But I got a Nosferatu shirt on. It's made by the same dude who made my Dune shirt,
Yeah.
and it's sick.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
Awesome.
I like it very much as well. The only complaint I have is it doesn't go far down enough to capture the mustache of Bill Skarsgård.
That is true, but this shirt was made before the mustache was officially unveiled. So
You need a pair of pants that has the mustache across the belt line so that way you can wear it as a combo.
what if I get a belt that has a massive like mustache belt buckle?
Perfect.
And I can kind of like tuck it in.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
When I said perfect, I spit everywhere. So sorry, but I was grossed out by myself. I was like, perfect. And it just went poof. I think I think I'm having side effects. If in 3 days y'all are doing an in memoriam show, it's because of all the DVD dust that I've
I believe it.
ended up
I mean, that stuff,
ingesting.
you don't know how long those have been sitting
That's
around
correct.
someone's garage, basement, attic.
My biggest problem right now is trying to figure out how to store them. Like I need some shelving in my life.
Well, or you could get those big binders, those zippy binders, and just catalog them like that. Did you want you want the case?
The case is where it's at. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no point. To me, there's no point of really collecting them if you're going to just discard the case, because that's where the sort of the nostalgia is.
It is, and I agree with you. But if you're wanting ease of storage, I would say
You've made me angry, and I'm going to tell you why.
okay.
So would you prefer like having all of the books you like on a Kindle, or would you
No.
like a physical bookcase
I-
where you can see all the different books, all their covers?
No, I'm not saying which I prefer. I'm just saying a solution. I just offered a solution, not my preference.
You haven't allowed me to tell you why I'm angry, so it makes it sound way worse.
Go ahead.
I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at me.
Okay.
Because back in the day, Tim 2002 Tim said, "You know what? I don't need all these cases. Let me just get one of these big CD binders. I'll just put all my
Mhm.
DVDs in there." And now I have a binder of DVDs and I want the cases back.
You
And
have
I'm
a
like,
binder of scratch DVDs.
yeah, that's not a great place to keep them either. I'm upset with my
Okay.
past self. And when you said, "Why don't you just discard all the," I started thinking about the mistakes I'd made in the past.
I understand.
So I hope your tenseness that's maybe residing in your shoulders right now loosens. There you go. You're not
Okay.
under attack, is all I'm saying. This is an odd show to start off with, and it's going to get even odder because there's some odd things that have been said in the public eye by a star trying to push a movie that feels like it's been an uphill battle here for a while. I'm going to get into a meltdown countdown today, and it is also our main topic. It is the 5 things that concern me the most about Captain America Brave New World, which is set to release in theaters on February 14th of this year. So, right around the corner. We are just a couple of weeks away.
Yeah.
And these are in no particular order.
Okay.
Normally, the Meltdown Countdown, it's from like least significant to most, but I feel like you just got to start off with the first thing that's top of mind right now. And that is the fact that its star, Anthony Mackie, who has taken over the role and is now holding the shield and has assumed the position of Captain America. Anthony Mackie spoke on a press tour for the 4th installment of the Captain America franchise at the Hotel de la Ville in Rome, Italy, earlier this week. And he said, quote, "Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term America should be one of those representations. It's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity, someone who is trustworthy and dependable." Now, the version of that statement that I just read, that was my introduction to this story. I hadn't heard the clip, I read it first.
Same.
When I went and listened to the clip, my hope was when I listened to it that it sounds better than it looked on the paper. When I listened to it, it's worse, in my opinion. Because he even says America in sort of like a,
Disdainful way.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like as in a way that he's ashamed.
A discarding.
Right. It's not like it was just a word salad that got pulled and made a big deal of. Like, it felt like it had some
It sounded
motivation.
like a 4-letter word to him.
Yeah, correct. It sounded like it had some type of, I'm so sorry that I'm here as an American
Mhm.
representing this film in Italy. I don't want you guys to think I'm a problem. That sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I had.
Felt defensive as
Okay.
well.
No, 99.8% of the things he said on this press tour, I don't have a problem with. Like, he said a
Mhm.
bunch of stuff that it's like, it's either very generic or it's somewhat inspirational and probably wouldn't have seen the light of day had he not made the controversial remarks. But like 99.8% of everything I'm okay with. And it's like, all right. And Anthony Mackie is a likable guy. I mean,
Mhm.
he's not a lightning rod for controversy. He's someone that, has been in the MCU for a long time. He's been more of a secondary character in the MCU that's now being elevated to the main roster. But, I don't have anything against Anthony Mackie, but what a blunder.
Yeah.
If you're Captain America, the one thing you can't do is take a shot at America in any way, or a perceived shot at America.
Right.
You've heard the term perception is reality, right?
Mhm.
He goofed. He screwed up. At the worst, he was offensive. And at the least, he was reckless. But either way, he goofed, screwed up.
Mhm.
You can't go
Mhm.
on a press tour for a Captain America movie and say that I don't think the term America should be one of those representations
No.
for Captain America. It's such a dumb mistake.
Well, you're also alienating so many people with that statement, and it's so unnecessary, I feel like, in that context to say it. I think the way that he said it, of that just kinda disdainful, discarding, "I'm sorry," it doesn't bode well, and it doesn't make, I would say, the average person wanna go see that movie because of it. And he has released a statement, I wanna say it was this afternoon or recently, apologizing for the statement, but it's hard to view whatever else he says not through that lens, or recount what he has said and not feel like, "Oh, well, then but this is how he felt the whole time. So is any of that actually true?"
If you, e.g., are hired on to do PR by Disney Marvel,
Ooh.
and you're on the tour out there and you're in Italy and you usher out the star of the show and he's out there and you're sitting there with your notepad and you're sort of enjoying meeting everybody and connecting and selling the film, and then you hear a statement like this,
Oh.
do you immediately know we have a problem?
Yes, that's why I'm confused. I feel like I don't understand how, and this is blanket statement of slight, but it feels like recently there have been remarks made by celebrities that make 0 sense, and I know they have media teams. I know they have PR professionals that paid a lot of money to train them for situations like this, and I don't understand how it keeps happening.
Well, Hunter actually brings that up in the chat. Great comparison here. He says he just Rachel Zeglered his movie. That is the perfect comparison. Another actor under the Disney banner who seemingly just goofs and
Yeah.
alienates half their audience when Disney has a media team for their media team.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, it still comes down to the messenger himself or
Mm.
herself to get it right, even if they've been through every bit of coaching possible in this situation. It was not a contentious interview. It was not it wasn't an expose on anything. It was just a press event.
That's what's confusing. It wasn't as though he was backed into a corner about
No,
this. It wasn't that it was a hard-hitting.
this is what
It
we
was a
call
real softball question. Just what does Captain America mean to you? You can take that in any direction.
you're a baseball fan,
Yeah.
e.g., this was an unforced error, is
Yes.
what this was.
Agreed.
And it's created a whirlwind of issues. Now, I'm going to be completely transparent. There's a segment of the entertainment following community now that wants to see the entertainment industry die. They want to see movies fail at the biggest level possible.
Why are they in the entertainment industry?
Well, I mean, there's huge windfalls into being the people who are cheering on the death of the entertainment industry and then being right.
Mm.
The entertainment industry is not doing itself any favors by coming out and being as stupid as this comment was. I mean, you cannot, it is such an unnecessary thing. And I think Anthony Mackie understands that. He did release a statement later on in the day via
Yeah,
Instagram.
I can pull it up.
I got it right here.
Okay.
Quote, "Let me be clear about this. I'm a proud American, and taking on the shield of a hero like Cap is the honor of a lifetime. I have the utmost respect for those who serve and have served our country. Cap has universal characteristics that people all over the world can relate to." So it does feel like the position he's putting himself into is like, I'm talking about this character as a global character rather than an American character. But I still think that all that does is push people that are angry further away from the box office and buying a ticket to go see this thing at a time where there's a lot I need to get into here when it comes to this film and where we're headed. But at a time where the box office is already suffering from a lot of people staying home.
Yeah, and you don't wanna add fuel to that fire by like we've talked about, alienating half of I would say over half of your audience. I mean, that Captain America, that is a huge market in the United States of America.
Yeah. And a lot of people, the marketing they're going to see for this film are news stories about this statement.
Yeah, they
Hey,
it's a
it's
great point.
this is gonna be how they figure out that this film was coming out, and they're gonna be, "Oh, well, I'm definitely not going now." Now, was that necessarily the target audience to get them? Not necessarily, but how many people that were maybe gonna be grouped into a gathering to go see this movie now are like,
No, I'm good.
"Absolutely not. Not
Well
taking my kids to it."
mhm.
It's supposed to be a 4-quadrant movie where you get young, old, male, female, and now you're gonna have a lot of people sitting at home out of protest for this one comment, this one statement.
Well, and I'm curious too going forward, whatever I mean, what we have 2 weeks until this movie comes out. I'd be curious to see what the PR plan was before this statement compared to now, because you have to do damage control on this. Like you mentioned, people who didn't know about this film are gonna know about this film now.
Well, Tyler, Anthony Mackie's gonna be asked about this again.
Oh, of course he is, and he's gonna have to defend it and go on an apology tour. I imagine he'll be on, was it Kelly and Michael? He'll be on with them tomorrow morning.
That's no longer a show, by the
Oh,
way.
okay. Well, he'll bring it back just for this apology,
Got
so
it.
he can try and get back some of the tickets he lost. Overall, I agreed with, like you said, like 99.8% of his statement. It's literally everything but the first sentence, because all of the traits he listed, serving with integrity and honor and being dependable,
Yeah.
that's why I see Captain America as a representation of America on the global stage with international relations. But I don't know. Gosh, I really wanted to agree with him for the most part, but if
I
you just take off the first 2
yeah.
seconds of the clip, it's a great clip.
Tyler, you want movies to win, you want movies to exist, you want theaters to exist. I want that too. However, we're not dumb. I mean, like,
Right.
the things we see, the things we hear, this was a royal screw up,
Oh, yeah.
and it's going to affect the bottom line. How to what extent? I don't know, but a statement like this doesn't bring people in.
No.
No, it doesn't, but the only silver lining with this is the hype for this movie was already at the floor anyway,
Yeah,
so I really don't think it pushed enough people away from the movie totally to where it really hurts their bottom line or their plans for the future.
fair. However, I also want to add on top of that, a lot of people who enjoy going to the movies go to escape.
Mhm.
Yes.
Going to this movie now will be a reminder of real world news cycle.
Well, yes, and all of the media coverage surrounding this will make your attendance of this movie an ideological stance.
Correct.
just like it was for A24's Civil War, and that's why they worked so hard to not have that movie be political, which ended up hurting the movie in the long run. But that's a separate conversation. Um, Anthony Mackie really screwed this one up, but luckily we're not. It wasn't in the press release
No.
leading up to Doomsday.
You know who needs to be looking at this? The Superman team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because some people will try to play the card of, oh, you know, a black man becomes Captain America and everyone decides they want to be outraged about it and they're going to do sort of this revisionist history of this is the reason why. And Anthony Mackie talked at depth about race and the role, and all that stuff was very powerful that he spoke about in Rome. There are certain characters that are meant to embody America and
Yeah.
its potential and its ability to be in a world where you can say this kind of stuff and be critical of a country even
Mhm.
and not end up imprisoned and dead.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I just feel like it's going to be a lazy take from a lot of defenders that are going to say like, "Oh, he's being targeted more than like a David Corn sweat would be." When I don't feel like that's fair. I feel like if Superman comes out and makes this same statement,
Oh,
Oh my
there's
gosh.
outrage.
Yeah.
internet culture rips him apart too. I got his name right. David
David
Corn Sweat.
Cornsweat.
Yeah.
Just every time I say it, it doesn't feel right.
It's
It's
I
spelled
would
like Corin Sweat, but it's pronounced
Corn Sweat.
Corn Sweat.
Corn Sweat.
Corn Sweat. That's
He-
correct.
Again, stage name for him. Should have done it years ago.
Yeah, I'm still agreeing with you on that.
But this was a big giant mistake, and it leads me into a bunch of other topics here.
Well, before we move on, I do want to point out something that I actually saw circling the internet, and that was that Chris Evans had a similar statement to this in 2011. Have you guys seen this?
Go ahead.
So this was from Chris Evans ahead of the first film in the series, The Avenger, and this is directly quoted. Well, to me, I'm not trying to get too lost in the American side of it. This isn't a flag waving movie. It is red, white, and blue, but it just so happens that the character was created in America during wartime when there was a common enemy, even though it is Captain America. I've said before in interviews, it feels like he should be called Captain Good.
Okay.
So ignoring the fact that Captain Good is just a terrible name.
It's a horrible name.
That's a bad name. It's meant to yes, the original comics were basically America versus the Nazis, and they just continued those sort of superhero ideals through the Cold War and into the modern day. And I think that's always been a good thing because the typical values we would see as positive traits in a superhero, being dependable, being a man of integrity and honor,
Yeah.
are traits we would also want to see in our country on the international stage.
And I want to say this as well, that a 2011 statement and a 2025
Agreed.
statement, we're in a different culture for sure.
Yep.
And that's not Anthony Mackie's fault, but it is the way things are. And maybe like the counter argument is that's exactly why Anthony Mackie made the statement he made, because that's the way things are in 2025 compared to the way they were in 2011. I just once again think it's an incredibly lazy argument.
Agreed.
And the
Agreed.
argument should be like, yeah, he screwed up, but let's not completely crucify the film for it.
Right. And I think people are also, again, this is all happening in the last couple of days. People are saying that Captain America's character was in direct defiance of the US government. So actually, this makes perfect sense as to why these statements are true. And I would argue, I think that Captain America represents the American people, not necessarily the government.
Let me get into another reason why I'm a little worried about Brave New World.
Okay.
This is more on the film side of things, and that is that this film's been plagued with production concerns
Mm.
and the rumors surrounding all the production concerns for a
I've
long time.
never seen so many reports of a movie being reshot.
Yes.
Reshot?
Yes, there's
Whole
been
sequences just scrapped and redone?
Yes.
Mhm.
According to Rob Liefeld, who is the creator of Deadpool, there's been at least like 4 reshoots on this thing. Yeah. It's been worrisome. Now there's reshoots and there's extra footage captured for films all the time, but not to the extent of like the thing that concerns me more is the fact that this movie has 6 writers. Like that's a little bit of a concern.
It's a lot of
That's a
opinions.
lot of writers trying to get this thing right. And there's been multiple reshoots, troubled production issues, and the you know, these are things that haven't been really struck down by Disney themselves. Like they haven't said, no, everything's actually fine. Reports of tons of failed test screenings with this film. Now, once again, we haven't seen the movie. It may end up that all of this was just internet
Yeah.
speculation that it
Mhm.
ends up being fantastic. They're trying to lower the bar.
Test screenings were also the same audiences that said Robert Pattinson wasn't a good Batman. So
You never know
we never
until you
know.
see it. But what we do know is that this film seems to be somewhere in the $350 to $400 million budget range right now due to a lot of these added reshoots and added expenses. And that's a big concern for me. All of this speculation that hasn't been addressed directly is a big worry that this movie may be an absolute bomb. It's also placed, now I know Marvel has a full slate this year, but it's also placed at a time where films are kind of allowed to suck and be forgotten about. Let's
Yeah.
not forget, Madam Web came out a year to the day, basically,
Yes.
of this Captain America movie. And I
But
hope it's not at that level.
even if the crowds are good for this film, it will still technically bomb on the financial side because of the budget. Because you're looking at, you said 350 to 400 million.
Right.
Mm,
All right, this movie's not making 800 million.
it's a
I
lot of
think
money.
so. Rule of thumb is 2.5 times production budget is what it needs to break even.
Oh yeah, marketing costs as
Two and
well.
a half
Yeah.
times production budget. And not only marketing costs, but also uh, you have to share the money with the theaters, the actual exhibitors. So there's both of those aspects working against the haul of the film. So it needs to make about 900 million
Huh.
to kind of get back to
Even?
even.
Oh my goodness. What now? I'm curious y'all's opinions on this. I know you said that Marvel has a full slate coming up, but why would they have not primed this for a summer movie? Do they not think that it was
Well, there's other Marvel movies coming out this summer that are bigger in scope.
Okay.
Fantastic Four, the relaunch of Fantastic Four. There's Thunderbolts a little couple months earlier. So they're really, I think, trying to go ahead and get this one out of the way and then hopefully bring in some productions that will resonate more. Now, once again, totally unfair by me to say that the movie is a steaming pile when I haven't seen it.
right?
But this is one of the worst marketing campaigns already. And then you have the Anthony Mackie comment, which sends it into a choose your side of this fight
Yep.
free fall. They say all publicity is good publicity, but not if you're
No.
trying to sell something.
No.
And I'm very much concerned that
If
that-
your goal is
There-
attention, all publicity is good
there-
publicity.
Yeah.
If your goal is to sell a product, you just need good publicity.
There's
Yeah.
a very, I would say defined list of things that you should not say, and I think this was at the top of that list. If you presented, "Hey, this is your PR memo for this film.
Yeah.
We want you to do XYZ." Big rule of thumb, don't say this. That was at the top.
it's a big mistake, big misfire, and it's better to just admit, hey, screwed up with the way I said it, screwed up with what I said. Let's move forward. Probably than
The
just trying to act
accountability.
like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Now, once again, there was that statement of like I see him as a global figure, sort of,
Mhm.
but I'm sure he's been prepped for. In order for this movie to be successful, it's got to have an international audience, and he may have taken that advice and gone one step too far.
Yeah, leaned into that too much considering his setting. He was
Yeah.
in Rome. He's abroad and
Right.
doesn't wanna offend people around him.
Yeah.
But you can do that and not say or toe that line of you just denounce the country. Like,
Yeah.
what?
It was a mistake. It was a mistake. It's just a question of how much will each individual hold it against the film
Yeah.
of what was said. And some people are going to say Anthony Mackie was completely correct in this statement, and I'm now going to go see it twice
Of course.
to
Yeah.
like double down on like,
Yep.
this is something that I also sort of believe, but he's not even saying he really believes it. It's a mess. There's another actor in this movie, though, that I'm giving blame for this thing not trending in the right direction.
Harrison Ford.
That is correct. Harrison Ford, my favorite movie president of all time
Mm-hmm.
is Harrison Ford in Air Force One as President James Marshall. But this time, Ford is assuming the role of President Ross, who was originally portrayed by William Hurt before his passing. And I am tired of Harrison Ford on promotional tours, Tyler.
He doesn't want to be there.
He not only doesn't want to be there, but he acts like he knows nothing about what's going on, which is tiresome.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
what was it like to play the Red Hulk? I didn't even know what a Red Hulk was. I still don't know. You tell me.
Oh,
Like that sort of stuff.
it's tired.
It's tiresome. But like he did this for Star Wars when when he was promoting Force Awakens.
Well, he's notoriously just hated everything Star Wars.
Is he hard to work with? Do you guys know? Have you ever heard any?
I have not heard that. Harrison Ford is one of my favorite actors of all time.
Yeah,
But when it comes to him selling a movie,
can't do it.
he's almost no help to Anthony Mackie. If you remember, I don't know if you recall, at the Golden Globes, Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie presented together. Anthony Mackie failed to read the teleprompter on time, and Ford looked at him like, "Are you ever going to read the teleprompter? It's your turn."
Oh no.
And Anthony Mackie, instead of making it joking, was startled and was like, "Oh," and then he started reading it, and it was just like, even at that point, all the production concerns that those storylines were just raging. And then to have a weak presentation at the Golden Globes just added on to the whole, this thing's doomed, it feels like. I am tired of Harrison Ford not knowing anything about anything, understanding anything, or caring about anything. Now, is it all a ruse? Probably. I'm tired of the ruse. I'm tired of the act.
I don't know if if his idea is like, oh, I'll look cool by not knowing about these things.
Ugh.
Like when there will be a trending story or a person, a song that's really popular, and there will always be that one person that says like, "What's whatever," just to try and be like cool. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't pay attention to any of that. Like a normal person,
Yep.
I do my own thing,
You're exactly right.
and that's Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones star in one of my favorite action movies of all time, The Fugitive. And
Great movie.
both of them, Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones, when it comes to their promotional campaigns, it is very much that line in the sewer there of like, I don't care. Like that's their whole vibe in the entire marketing campaign for anything they do. The last Indiana Jones movie, I have not seen it, but it underperforming to the way it did, where it lost, millions of dollars for Disney. I wonder about the marketability of Harrison Ford, especially when he comes out and does the same old sort of act every single time out on the press tour. People want to embrace Harrison Ford, but he seems averse to that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he just keeps pushing everybody away.
Everything at arm's length.
Yeah, and you know, it- it's become tiresome. Also, I just got done seeing K-19, The Widowmaker, which stars a Harrison Ford from 2002, where he has a horrible Russian accent, and that has soured me too.
Uh.
That's the last thing I've ingested of Harrison Ford. Okay, another thing that's worried me. No Chris Evans being promoted. Let me explain why.
It means Chris Evans will be in the movie.
I think so. And I said, I wanted to be very clear. I didn't want to say no Chris Evans in the movie. I want to say no Chris Evans being promoted. I don't think you reshoot this thing 4 times and not go, you know what? We should probably pay Chris Evans to come be a part of the.
I don't think you reshoot this thing 4 times, announce that Chris Evans will be coming back to the MCU for future movies, and then him not show up in this movie.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, the last MCU movie we saw, Deadpool and Wolverine, Chris Evans is in that. So, I mean, he's clearly ready to come back and do some business
Oh.
because nothing else he's really doing is working anyway. Let me explain here the Chris Evans situation. Chris Evans has played the role of Captain America now, I believe, 11 times, based on my research. 11 times we've seen him suit up as Cap.
I'll take your word for it.
All the team-up movies, all the Captain America movies. Now, someone in the chat can tell me if I'm way off and I'm wrong on that, but I believe we've seen him 11 times playing the role of Captain America. Now, with all that being said, he is synonymous with the role of Captain America in film.
Yeah.
Like, people equate that role with him. And when the general moviegoer is told, hey, Captain America 4 is out, in their mind, the first person that comes to mind
Chris Evans.
is Chris Evans. Oh, yeah. I've seen all the Captain America movies. I love Captain America. What's going on here? Oh, there's no Chris Evans in this? Like, they immediately are angry and frustrated because that role is associated with that individual. Now, it's not a Chris Evans thing as much as it is a people like what they like, and people like Chris Evans' Captain America
It's like
portrayal.
me with Harry Potter.
Well, I'm going to use this analogy. Chris Evans did this recently with Lightyear, Buzz Lightyear, where he was in the movie Lightyear, and people are like, wait, Tim Allen's not Buzz Lightyear? Like,
What are you doing here?
Tim Allen's always been Buzz Lightyear. What are you doing? Well, Chris Evans is Buzz Lightyear now. Why? What was wrong with Tim Allen? And when people realized Tim Allen wasn't playing Buzz Lightyear, they're like, I don't have to see this. This isn't my Buzz Lightyear, you know? And it's the same situation with every sort of title character that they try to replace with some other actor sort of taking the mantle of that role. It's never an easy sell to the public.
No, it's like when bands change out their lead singer due to creative differences or whatever, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we're still the same old band. We're even better now that we've got this new guy."
Yeah.
And then nobody ever buys it. Like Motley Crue, for example.
Yeah, there's very few times where anything like that works. And whether it's fair or not, because narratively, if you're a Marvel fan and you're going, well, narratively, they've made it make sense how you're having Sam take over the role of Captain America. I mean, that was an Endgame. It was a $2 billion movie. I mean, people saw that movie. They understand, like, he's been handed the shield for a reason.
Not to mention an entire series on Disney Plus.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, that's been my favorite Disney Plus Marvel series, by the way. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And it's very much about whether or not Sam is ready to take on the role of Captain America. And I think it's a really well done series. But we've got to be honest here. Not a whole heck of a lot of people have seen it. Like, we're talking about general audiences. They have not seen this series.
No.
They don't know about the struggles that were introduced in that, which I think is, once again, well done narratively. What the TV series did for Marvel was they divided up the audience even more. And they've made it where no one's on the same page with Marvel anymore, of like, nobody's at the same chapter. Nobody's at the same point. Deadpool and Wolverine was a breath of fresh air that everybody sort of came back together as a reunion for one movie. But now...
And they even kind of joked about that in the movie, about how fragmented it was getting when whatever whatever that thing was that popped up in the void. And Deadpool makes a joke and he goes, "Oh, that's from Loki episode 9."
Right, exactly.
It's like cool. I don't know what that is. Thank you for filling me in.
The frustration that I always thought for Deadpool and Wolverine to be successful, it had to tap into the frustration that fans of the genre have. And it did that. And it made them laugh. It wasn't entirely mean-spirited. It was like a roast.
Yeah.
Where you know what you're signing up for, a roast comic, and you go in there and yeah, it's vicious sometimes, but it's funny. And the funniness outweighs the viciousness. It's not like mean-spirited if everybody's in on it.
Yeah.
And that's the way roasts work, and that's the way that Deadpool and Wolverine work. But the problem is now they're like, Deadpool and Wolverine, $1 billion movie, highest grossing R-rated movie ever, biggest movie of 2024, and now we're going to present you replacement Captain America. Huh? Doesn't work with a lot of people. That's a bad trait. That's a bad thing that you're giving. People are not stupid. Like, that's the one thing I wish Hollywood would understand, is that they may not be completely locked in on everything, but they're not stupid. And when you try to treat them as such, they stay home. And that's what's happening with this movie left and right, I feel like. And I feel like it's going to hurt this movie tremendously, which is why I get into the number one thing. Once again, no particular order, but this is the last thing on the Meltdown Countdown. Superhero cinema fatigue and people feeling like when they go to one of these movies, they get ripped off.
Yeah.
2024 was one of the best years in recent memory for horror movies. 2024 rewarded horror fans left and right. You like,
You had to pick carefully, but
yeah,
there were a lot of good rewards.
you like vampire movies? We're going to give you an all-timer. You like body horror? It's going to be nominated for 5 Academy Awards. What? The Substance is going to be nominated for 5 Academy Awards? Are you kidding me?
Nosferatu got a nomination for cinematography.
Correct.
Let's not discount our boy Robert Eggers.
I just said an all-timer with vampire movie.
Well, it is, but I'm
not discounting anything. It's part of the group
Yeah.
here, Tyler. It's part of the group. Tyler's like, this is my shirt, damn it. Anyway, no, like, as good of a year as it was for horror movies in 2024, it was the reverse for superhero cinema minus Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, Deadpool and Wolverine was exactly what I said it was. It was a reunion tour. It was a one night only. It was this is a flash in the pan. There's no way to sort of continue this momentum, but it's not relying on the momentum of anything else.
other than that, you just had Sony just shoveling their slop down everyone's throat.
Not only Sony, I mean, you had Joker Folia do.
Oh, I completely forgot about Joker Folia do. That's how bad that movie is. I've completely pushed it from my brain already.
I mean, honestly, is there a worse superhero cinema year, maybe, ever, than 2024? I mean, since we've been on this run, I'm not talking about like, okay, well, let's go back to 1997 and let's look at Batman and Robin and then nothing else. Maybe Spawn came out in 97. I don't know.
Spawn was 97.
Which Spawn was good. But like, since superhero cinema has been prevalent, I can't think of a worse year than 2024. Even though you had an all-time box office receipt from Deadpool and Wolverine, but it feels like it's the exception to the worst year in the history of superhero cinema. But that's what audiences are still recouping from, is feeling like they've been robbed by these movies. You not only got Madam Web, but you got Kraven the Hunter in the same year. You got that in the same year. That's pretty bad. Venom 3, or Venom the Last Dance,
It is just fine
just
if
fine.
you've wrote it out that long.
Just fine. But people are tired of superhero movies right now. They're tired of the inconsistency of them. They're tired of simultaneously everything connects, but nothing connects.
Yeah.
Like,
I know I am.
everything connects, but nothing pays off. And do I need to see this one to really understand the next one? No, you don't. This is a one-off, or this is this.
And there's also no stakes in them.
No.
You know going in that everything's going to be wrapped up by the end in a nice bow and set up the next 10 movies. And we got to stay for the post-credit scene. And there's a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
And it just gets old after a while when you're just given generic stories just meant to set up other generic stories.
Correct. And
like at this point in the MCU, the way they introduce other characters is more interesting than any story they tell.
And you ready? This is how they introduce them now. Comic-Con. Like, they don't even introduce them narratively. It's like Robert Downey Jr. came back for Comic-Con and everybody lost their mind, and then they went, how's this going to make sense? And they're like, well, I kind of look forward to seeing that. But like, the biggest problems with this Captain America Brave New World movie is that they continue to promise, like, hey, so many better things are coming up next. Like, so many better things are coming up ahead. Like, big picture stuff is going to matter way more down the line. Like, they're sacrificing this movie, I feel like.
I felt like they were as soon as the Chris Evans announcement happened. I felt like that just sucked all the air out of Brave New World.
Correct. And Chris Evans, if you want to look at this like left versus right with the whole comments made by Anthony Mackie and like the division in our country, Chris Evans is very left publicly.
Oh, yeah.
Very left. And conservative audiences still show up to see his Captain America because I feel like they're able to separate the man from the character. Anthony Mackie intentionally made it to where you can't separate what was said from the character.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that divide now that exists that didn't exist before, it's causing people to pick a side, which is the ultimate sin of anything you're trying to do in public relations and trying to sell something.
Yeah.
It makes audiences feel like you're bringing your personal politics into the movie and into the performance, when that might not be the case at all. But it gives people that icky taste in their
Mhm.
mouth, and that's enough to keep them home.
Right. They feel like the choice exists where it didn't previously exist.
Yes.
Am I gonna go see this because because it looks bad or because it looks good? Or am I not gonna go see this because it looks bad? That's what it was up against already.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like,
because these trailers don't excite me for the movie at all.
yeah,
I thought they were pretty bad trailers.
when we went to go see The Brutalist,
Mhm.
they programmed a Brave New World trailer before The Brutalist, and it was working for nobody in that theater. Like, and I understand 2 totally different
Yeah,
crowds,
that is the opposite crowd.
but it wasn't working for these people. They were actively talking about rooting against it, and this was before the Anthony Mackie comments.
Mhm.
"Oh gosh, I'm so done with the MCU. Oh my gosh, another stupid superhero movie. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to see this. I am not excited for this." And you're hearing this
In real time.
in real time with a real audience. It's like a test screening gone poorly, except they're going, "Please make the trailer stop." You think those people are buying tickets to go see the movie? Maybe they want to go see it and crap on it. But this movie is projected to have a roughly $90 million opening weekend. That was before the comments.
I felt like that would be a really good opening weekend for this movie anyway.
Correct.
Okay.
That would be good. The problem is not opening weekend, though. The problem is, what does it do in week 2, week 3? Is it
Yeah.
still a factor? Is it still holding strong enough to end up generating enough buzz and revenue to push it to profitability eventually? It requires the international audience in order to really make it a billion-dollar film. But this could be an epic failure if on Thursday night word starts getting around, or even a couple days before. When is Disney going to lift the embargo on this movie?
So, the fan event screening is, I believe, the 13th. So, there's no general audience screenings for this movie before the
So,
actual, like, Thursday night premiere.
so there's no, well, you know, the fan screening's the 13th.
And those are typically up to a week before the movie. Let me double check
I
my
remember
AMC app.
we saw Joker Folia due on a Monday, and it would actually concern me more if Captain America was debuting on a Monday, because what that would tell me is they're trying to get as much of an opening push, and then people not believing the bad word of mouth, and then going to see it, and then things starting to
Mhm.
die down, like what happened with Joker. So, like, I just want to know when the review embargo lifts,
Okay.
because for Moana 2, I don't think they lifted the review embargo until like day of, because they thought they had a stinker on their hands. And they did narratively, but like kids want to go see bright colors and they want to go see
Yeah,
Moana and they don't
songs
care.
and
Yeah. So they were very protective of that movie. How protective will they be of Captain America Brave New World? I want to know that. And that's going to tell you a lot. If Disney's going no reviews until the day before or day of, that's going to tell you
it's
everything you need
never
to
a
know about
good
the movie.
sign. It's
Yeah.
never a good sign.
So anyway,
I'm trying to find an official, like, here's when the review embargo lifts. Let's see. Don't see anything. That's disappointing.
well, here's what I will say. It's really good when my dentists don't see anything, you know?
Agreed.
Like, if they open me up and they're like, "You're good to go.
Clean bill of health.
Everything looks great." I'm happy when that is something that
There's
occurs.
no embargo on their review of your mouth.
Yeah.
That is correct. That works, Tyler. We encourage you to reach out to the team that we trust most there that works in dentistry at Alabama Dental Associates, located on Grants Mill Road. Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, Dr. Nolan, providing you all sorts of services. Maybe you need to go ahead. You got a toothache that you need looked at. Maybe it is a cavity that you need worked on. They do so much right there in office. I was able to get a root canal once in the actual office without having to go to anybody else, without having to wait. I the services that they provide, they're in-house, not having to send you to another dental professional is astounding. And it really helps with your schedule. They have those late office hours for you. So maybe you work all day long and you're like, look, I don't have time to go to the dentist, Tim. You do at Alabama Dental Associates, as they are open most nights until 7 o'clock.
Wow.
Whether you have that nagging toothache or you need to get on top of those regular cleanings, reach out to the team at Alabama Dental Associates. Make your dental appointment. Visit alabamadental.com or call them at 205-956-8977, where they look forward to seeing you. Tyler, have you found anything you may be looking for?
I have not, unfortunately. Just people speculating.
Yeah,
Nothing
we,
nothing
we
official.
I don't think we'll know for sure until we get a little bit closer. I do wonder if there's going to be more, now that we've addressed it, now that it's out there, now that we've talked about every angle of this and how you have certain sides rooting for the film, certain sides rooting against the film, and then you have the film itself that's falling apart in its marketing campaign. Like
And
how
in its production.
how will Disney try to save this? Like, will they release another clip of Red Hulk to get everybody excited? I haven't heard a ton of people excited about Red Hulk. Just general audiences. We that was the first thing we saw from this movie was a leak of Red Hulk.
Yes.
Like Red Hulk's been around now for a long time, it feels like.
I hear more people talking about just rumors and speculation on Fantastic Four than I hear just any conversation, positive, negative, whatever, about this film.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't know.
I think this one might be dead on arrival with or without Anthony Mackie's comments.
It was already in trouble and now it's really in trouble. But I don't think any of us are going to be in trouble because we have EG on our side. And I don't know if EG knows this, but we're going to have another edition of Fine Tuned Fortunes happening right now. Yes,
Yes.
Tyler, I want you to be looking in the chat. You're going to pick one lucky viewer to have their fortune read, and we are going to see who that is, preferably someone that's a first-time fortuneer.
Okay, I just saw this chat and I immediately knew this is who gets it.
Okay.
Samuel Riley, I nominate you to receive a fine-tuned fortune because you're talking about Dogman, and I also will be seeing that tomorrow to review it. So that's why we don't have any Dogman discussion. I'm kind of hopeful for it though, because it's made by the same creators as Captain Underpants, and I was a big reader of those books when I was in elementary school.
I was as well. I still have the collection. I've handed them down to my daughter, who now reads those, and I love that series for
I
sure.
believe Dogman is the series that the kids in Captain Underpants come up with.
That sounds like it checks. That's good stuff. The two big releases this week are Dogman and Companion.
Mhm.
Dogman expected to dominate the box office compared to Companion. Companion's a smaller horror film. We're going to have our spoiler review up of Companion. We got a chance to see it Monday night at an early screening at a Scream Unseen. We didn't know we were seeing it, but we knew we'd be seeing it this week. We just didn't know when. We saw it Monday. We'll have our spoiler review up for you. If you happen to see it Thursday, Friday, over the weekend, you can check out that spoiler review. Let's get to Fine Tune Fortune. And you picked Samuel Riley. We're going to hold off on his fortune here as have this trick where I know exactly whose fortune belongs
He
to who.
does.
It has been miraculous how well it's worked.
Uncanny.
So I never start with me. That second one,
This
yep,
one?
that's mine. And we're going to start with me. It sounds selfish, but that one's just, it's telling me, Tim, this is yours.
That fortune cookie was speaking to you like the Green Goblin mask.
It was. Good superhero reference.
Okay.
This one's mine.
A new project will lead to achievement.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Would you like your fortune cookie?
I would like the fortune cookie. Thank you.
I didn't have to break it.
Trying to think about, I don't know. Do you think, let me just throw this out there. Could this be my eBay selling that I just started?
I think so.
It's a new project.
It's a new
Today I made
project.
my first sale.
Or it could be our companion review.
It could be. Probably not, but it could
Could
be.
be.
Probably not, but
Could be.
here's hoping.
Yeah. Okay, next. Oh, man. So I've got to feel it.
Okay.
I've got a feeling.
The one that is in the palm of your hand is yours.
Okay.
Yeah. Boomer wants to see Dogman, by the way.
I'm hoping that Dogman. So it looks like RoboCop for kids, and I'm hoping that they've got some sort of cartoon version of the guy that goes,
Oh,
"I'd
God.
buy that for $1." That's my favorite part of RoboCop.
This is very specific. Your social life will flourish in August.
I mean, yes, it will.
Let's think about that for a second. What's your primary beat?
Football.
When does it come back?
August.
I'm not saying that I'm good at this,
But
I mean, you don't have to.
but dang, am I
Wow.
good at this? And I,
It's in the pudding.
you know what? If you have missed Fine Tune Fortunes in the past, I'm about 99.8%, just like what Anthony Mackie said about Captain America. Okay. One time,
it,
Tyler was being arrested, and the
And-
fortune said Tyler's being
Whoa,
arrested.
Basically.
whoa. Let's clear that up right now. I was never arrested
Sorry.
nor detained.
Made a person of interest live on the show.
yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, man. Okay, I'm on a heater right
You
now.
are.
I'm on an absolute heater. I'm so good at this. Okay. It's a weird talent to be good at.
It is.
Like, it helps you nowhere except for right here, right now. So the next one is Samuel's.
Okay.
Samuel is probably terrified. He's like,
Probably.
how good is Tim at this? Because I'm terrified. Swap them. Yeah, I know for sure. So the one in your left hand is Samuel's.
This one.
That's Samuel's. Yeah. I had to make sure I still felt that way,
Yeah,
even with
that's
the
true.
swap. Samuel, I hope you're still tuned in. This is like Final Destination, if you're wondering.
Oh,
And Hunter, I am not still a person of
it's
interest.
a skinny fortune. And it's only halfway on. All it says
That can't be
here-
good, Samuel.
I think that's a bad omen. I
really-
think Dogman's gonna be
I'm
dog
sorry,
water.
Samuel. Challenges that come your way.
No, let me see it.
I'm not
Let
kidding.
me see it. No, Samuel, no. Oh no. Is the other half in there? Break the cookie.
No, I did break the cookie. There's no other half.
Samuel, this is I've done something to you, my friend, and I'm so sorry. It's half of a fortune. Like the top half of the fortune does not exist, and it just says challenges that come your way.
I'm sorry,
You will
Samuel.
overcome challenges that come your way. How about that, Samuel?
Let's hope so. I did get all your lucky numbers if you want those. 52, 46, 17,
oh, no.
53,
What are you saying?
Oh no.
36,
He just
56.
put in the chat he found out he's getting deployed to Syria next year. Maybe it's still accurate. That's wild. Hope you stay safe, buddy.
Thank you for your service.
And yes, and thank you for your service. We
Really appreciate it.
we appreciate it, unlike Anthony Mackie.
Amen.
You beat me to it. I was gonna make a joke. Yeah. Yeah. Who needs Captain America when he got Samuel and his
Yeah, we're Team Samuel.
half fortune? Okay, I'm sorry, Samuel. That's a big that's not good. Okay, this last one is Tyler's. Let's see what Tyler got. He got a full fortune from what I can tell.
Yes. Your greatest wisdoms comes from life experiences. Your
Huh.
greatest wisdom comes from life's experiences.
All
I think that works.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that works. I did tell a pretty wacky story on TNR today.
Would you like your cookie?
You did,
I'm all right, thank you though.
Okay.
did
I'll eat
tell
it.
a wacky story on TNR today. I think that Samuel is my other half in there. It's not.
It is not,
Samuel. I'm so
unfortunately.
sorry. You are doomed with the half fortune. We don't rig this. We don't
No.
plan. And just know that challenges that come your way,
You'll overcome.
we'll add on to it. Tyler, you got a chat check in here with us before we say our goodbyes.
Got a new listener here. Ron says, why don't you idiots either go to a press screening or wait for it to come out? Just stop reading some anonymous Joe Schmo's phony review of Captain America. Well, we haven't read any reviews of it since the embargo's still going on. We're
Yeah.
just talking about our own expectations of the movie.
Yeah, we are talking about the marketing campaign. Once again, I feel like I've said a couple times we cannot talk about the quality of the film yet, but that everything right now, unfortunately, the narrative is building against it. And um, I will be seeing this movie.
Yeah, I'll be seeing it opening night and cheering for its success, like we do with everything we go
Sure.
see.
Yeah,
We're not in the business of rage bait and negativity.
that's true until something hurts us real bad.
Well, oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. We'll milk that for all it's worth then.
If you come after our audience's time and their money, we get
Yes.
angry.
Agreed.
Yes.
And we have a track record of that.
Uh-huh.
However, uh, right now, Captain America has made $0 with its new entry because it's not out yet. Nobody's seen it. There's no press reaction. Will we be monitoring the reaction leading up to it before we go see it? Yes. But we will definitely be checking this one out. And then I hope you'll check out our full review. You live up to your end of the deal, checking out our review. We'll go see it and we'll have a good discussion about it there. But I think one thing I try to always be is as fair as possible. And right now, what's building against this Captain America movie just continues to hit new heights, unfortunately. And will Disney counteract that with more of their PR team, or will they try to just get past this phase and start promoting Thunderbolt, start promoting Fantastic Four? We'll see. Disney, this movie's not supposed to be the controversial one for Disney this year. Snow White. If you think this is bad, if you think the rhetoric around Captain America is bad, you wait until Snow White comes out.
Man, at least there's been some precedent for what Rachel Zegler said. You had Snow White and the Huntsman exist, but there's not a precedent for Captain America not being a proud American.
Yeah, Snow White is going to be one of the stinkiest press tours of the year for sure. And if you're Disney, you're just looking to get back on the board after what was a huge 2024. Bad for superhero cinema, really good for horror movies, really good for Disney. They had 3 movies hit the $1 billion mark. Um, it's been strong for them. And Mufasa continues to sort of hang in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not very good. Anyway, that's going to do it here for us on the Meltdown. We do want to remind you to visit our title sponsor, that is MyBookie, as it's a fun place. Lots of daily odds boosts there. Make sure you use that promo code next round for that first time deposit bonus. You can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime with MyBookie. If you love watching sports, enhance your experience with MyBookie, or maybe you want to visit that live casino that they offer. Tons of experience to have a lot of fun at mybookie.ag. Use that promo code next round. Until next time, Meltdonians, we will be hanging around here. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss when we go live at Meltdown 247.